I never thought a rainstorm would change my life. But that night, walking home from another grueling shift at Sunset Junction Cafe, everything shifted. The rain hammered down on Brooklyn Heights like it had a personal grudge against the pavement. My feet ached in my worn sneakers, and my uniform clung to me like a second skin. I'd been at the cafe for 10 hours, straight, serving customers who barely looked at me, while my manager, Calvin Brooks, watched my every move like a hawk circling prey. Mariah, table 6 needs water. Mariah, you're moving too slow. Mariah, smile more. His voice still echoed in my head as I hurried down the empty street. Just wanting my bed, and maybe some instant noodles if I had the energy to boil water. That's when I saw him. An elderly Asian man stood beside a vintage car, the hood propped open, steam rising into the rain. He was drenched, his thin jacket plastered to his shoulders, and he kept looking at his phone with this confused, almost lost expression. I should have kept walking. I was exhausted, broke. My studio apartment was still 3 blocks away, and I could barely afford my own problems, let alone someone else's. But I stopped. "Sir, are you okay?" He looked up, and I saw it in his eyes. Relief mixed with embarrassment. His hands were shaking. "My car, it just stopped. And my phone, it's dead. I don't know." His voice trailed off, and he looked so vulnerable standing there in the storm. Something in my chest tightened. Maybe it was the way my own grandmother used to look when she needed help, but didn't want to be a burden. Maybe it was just who I was, even when I had nothing left to give. "You can't stay out here like this," I heard myself say. "Come with me. My apartment's close. We'll get you dry and figure this out." His eyes widened. I couldn't possibly. "Please," I insisted. "I'm not leaving you here." 20 minutes later, Mr. Kenji Sato, that's what his business card said when he pulled it from his wallet, sat at my tiny kitchen table wrapped in my oversized college hoodie and sweatpants that were hilariously too big for him. Steam rose from the mug of tea I'd made, and color was finally returning to his cheeks. "You didn't have to do this," he said quietly, his accent soft and refined. "Most people would have walked past." I shrugged, pouring myself some tea. Most people aren't raised by the grandmother I had. She always said kindness costs nothing, but means everything. We talked for a while. He told me about his wife who'd passed 2 years ago, how he'd been driving her favorite route when the car broke down. I told him about working at the cafe, about trying to save money for school, about dreams that felt impossibly far away. Around 3 in the morning, I gave him my couch and a blanket. "Rest," I told him. "We'll sort everything out in the morning." But when I woke at 6, he was gone. On the table sat a handwritten note in elegant script. "Thank you for seeing me with kindness." I smiled, tucked the note into my journal, and rushed to get ready for work. I was late. The storm hadn't let up, and the trains were delayed. By the time I burst through the cafe doors, soaked and breathless, Calvin was already there, arms crossed, that familiar sneer on his face. "Nice of you to join us, Mariah." "I'm sorry, the trains, I don't want to hear it." He raised his voice, and I felt every eye in the cafe turn towards us. Staff, customers, everyone. "You're constantly making excuses. Late, distracted, unreliable." My throat tightened. "Calvin, please, it was the storm." "It's always something with you." He stepped closer, his voice dripping with contempt. "If you can't show up on time and do your job, you don't belong here. Pack your things. You're fired." The words hit me like a physical blow. Around us, I heard gasps. Maria, one of the other waitresses, looked at me with wide, sympathetic eyes. Even some regular customers seemed shocked. "Calvin, that's not fair," Maria started. "Did I ask for your opinion?" He snapped at her, before turning back to me. Well, what are you waiting for? I could have told him, could have explained where I'd been, what I'd done, why I was late. But something stopped me. Why should an act of basic human decency need defending? Why should I have to justify choosing compassion over punctuality? I lifted my chin, fighting back tears. Kindness shouldn't need defending. I grabbed my bag from the break room, ignoring the whispers, and walked out into the rain that was still falling. Behind me, I heard Calvin bark orders at everyone to get back to work. I made it 2 blocks before I let myself cry. That afternoon, I was curled up on my couch in dry clothes, updating my resume, when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? This is Mariah Daniels. A professional female voice. Yes? This is Catherine Chen, assistant to Mr. Kenji Sato. He'd like to invite you to meet him at Sunset Junction Cafe at 4 o'clock today. Are you available? My heart jumped. Yes, I'll be there. I arrived at 3:55 p.m., my stomach in knots. Through the cafe windows, I could see Calvin strutting around, chest puffed out, ordering the staff like a general commanding troops. Then a sleek black car pulled up. Mr. Kenji stepped out, but he looked completely different. Sharp business suit, confident posture. 2 people flanked him, Catherine and someone who looked like a lawyer. I watched from outside as he walked through the door. Calvin rushed forward immediately. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Sunset Junction. I'm Calvin Brooks, the manager here. How can I help you today? Kenji looked at him with an expression I couldn't quite read. I'm Kenji Sato, the majority owner of this cafe.